This is a sneak preview. Hopefully I get this correct in one take. I've been working on a project and this is my first attempt. I wanted to make a canvas print, and this is a picture from a lookout in Oahu, Hawaii, and this is a panorama, obviously, and I printed this on RedRiver Blanco Matte canvas. This is the same canvas that I had a sample of about a year ago. By the way, I've had my printer for a year now. I did not originally like the canvas that much because I was still new to printing and I did things wrong. And so I got another sample a couple months later, realized that I had screwed up ICC profiles and a couple other things. The resolution on canvas is still lower, but I do like the fact that you can print a big thing and just stretch it, and you don't need to have a huge sheet of several $100 glass. So this is covered in a varnish called Breathing Color Gloss Timeless. So there's two different types of breathing color that I'm aware of. There's Timeless and Glamor 2. I got Timeless for the gloss. I got Glamor 2 for the matte. And it turns out that the Glamor 2 you're supposed to actually dilute with distilled water. I did not do that. I did not read instructions apparently. I thought that I bought the same thing, and the first one said just roll it on. And the first one was this gloss, Timeless. And I used the matte on the thing that I'm actually trying to print, much bigger than this, but this was just my practice. I also spent some time creating this frame. You can see that it's got 4 supports on the corners and 1 in the middle. This was fine, I thought, for the size that I did. I'm printing a lot bigger picture for my friend Jagdish, and I think needs a little more support than this, and he wanted it a little bit thinner. So instead of doing the long dimension this way, I'm going to do the long dimension the opposite direction to get it thinner, and hopefully it's nice and strong. I think it'll be pretty strong because I bought, instead of this, which I think is pine, I got for him, put this down, it's really nice hardwood maple. And maple is a lot stronger than pine, a lot denser. It takes a stain better. This is already very smooth. I'm not going to have to spend time sanding it forever. And the other one felt fuzzy and kind of like driftwood almost compared to this. But this was $2.33 per linear foot, so it's going to be a lot more expensive than that frame that I did, which probably cost like $5-10 bucks. I can't remember exactly because I bought that wood a long time ago. Okay, so what are we doing today? Today I'm putting on a coat of varnish. So this is actually my third attempt. The first time I printed, I actually printed that size. That was our sample. And let me actually pull that out. Alright, so this is Jagdish's picture. I'll probably splice in some of the printing of it. This is the same size as the panorama you just saw, except not quite the same aspect ratio. It's a little bit less long, but it's a nice fun shot they had in Jamaica. This I used the Glamor 2 matte, and I just rolled it on. And I thought that it looked nice. Oh, speaking of rolling on, let me explain one of the things I did as a mistake. So I'll probably put some of this as B-roll, but I'm just going to keep talking. So I rolled on the glossy stuff, and when I put it on, I just kind of put dabs in a few places. And then I used, let's see, I have it around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. And I used this fuzzy paintbrush that I had. It was brand new, didn't have all the dirt and stuff on it that it does now. But it worked just fine on this. The problem is, all the places that I dabbed it on, when I had rolled on, there was a few places where, if you look at it from an angle, the gloss, you could see like streaks where I put more on than other places. And so, this was my first attempt. When I tried Jagdish's piece, what I did was I put it on much thicker. I put on lots, I sprinkled it on, and then I went over it like 15 times, front to back. Now, anytime that it looked like it was dry in a spot, I just added a little bit more. And I think that I only did one coat on this, and then I checked its glare, because I didn't want a whole lot of glare on this window. I wanted it to be nice and muted. I did not want a glossy, and that was the whole point of buying a pint of the matte and a quart of the glossy, was to see what I liked. And I really liked how matte turned out because of the low gloss. So that was my first mistake, was not applying enough and then having different parts of it that were more, and only at a really hard angle could you even see it. At a straight on, or even like a 60-degree angle, you don't see anything. Especially when you don't have the hard light hitting it. Anyway, so the next thing I did, I just put it somewhere. The next thing after I printed that smaller one is I printed much larger. This is going to be 66 by 30, and I added 2 inches on each side. So the actual color overlap is 70 by 34, because I'm going to lose 2 inches on each side. It's 4 extra inches in the vertical, 4 extra inches in the horizontal. And then I added a little bit of extra white on the sides so that when I wrap it around, I'll have plenty of extra to wrap around. So I think this is 2 inches. On my second print, because I screwed this one up, I added an extra inch, so it's 3 inches on each side. This top part I think is 5. Now, what happened wrong on this one? Again, I'll probably do some B-roll of that. I put this on the cardboard that my printer came in, which was laying flat, but this was longer than the 5.5 or 6 foot long side, and so it went over the crease of when it was laying flat. What ended up happening, which, let's see if I can get it up there. It's right here. There's a spot that has, where the crease was, it kind of stretched the canvas just a little bit as it was drying, and it made it so that there was a break in that nice gradient that it had. There was also a little bit on the black of one of the legs that was screwed up. So I decided, as much as this is expensive, I think it was like $40 to print, I wasn't satisfied. We were spending so much on framing and all the other stuff and all the time. There's no reason to just have I spent some money on the actual varnish as well, so it's more than $40 because of the varnish. It's going to be a small amount in the total cost, and that's just part of learning. So that's why we call this Print Adventure, because I'm learning how to do all this stuff. I just kind of chalk it up like I'm paying for a class, and I'm just going to have to eat that cost. Okay, so what are we doing today? I'm putting on first coat of varnish on the reprint. It's been laying here for 24 hours. So what I learned was, when you print canvas, you want to lay it as flat as possible. I learned that from this mistake. Then you want to wait 24 hours. Waiting 24 hours gives it so that it has enough time to off gas and evaporate the, I think it's polypropylene glycol or something like that in the ink that it's spraying on there. So it wants to leave the dry pigments, but you want to let the solution evaporate off. So we're going to put some varnish on today. We're going to let that wait for 24 hours. Then we're going to put on varnish for a second coat, let that wait for 24 hours. Then we're going to stretch it. So last time I used this fuzzy roller, and what else happened? So the first two things that I rolled this on, I had no issues. When I rolled it on the big print, which is I think 4 or 5 times the amount of square footage, this left a few just little tiny fuzzy things on it, and I wasn't ready for that, and I used my finger to pull it out. Now, what I saw another YouTuber do was they got a pin, and so anytime there was a little hair or fuzzy thing, they just used a pin and just kind of pulled it off. That way, they didn't scratch it with their fingers. The other thing is, I don't know if I scratched it with my finger or if it was the crease of the cardboard. I think it was the crease of the cardboard, but there was a fuzzy near the exact same spot. But I don't think it was my finger, because along the same line in the black of their silhouette was another issue. Anyway, so we're going to do, instead of that, I got this high density foam roller, and the actual brand doesn't matter, but what you're looking for is a roller that is not made with like cloth. You want it made with foam. So we got this guy, it's nice and squishy. Okay, and the other thing that I screwed up, which I already mentioned, was that I did not dilute the Glamor 2 in distilled water. And I'm going to have to look up the actual ratio of distilled water to Glamor 2. I think that it was 1 part distilled water to 2 parts Glamor 2 if you're rolling it. And I think it was 1 to 1 if you're spraying it, but again, I'm going to have to look it up. So I've got this guy. And I'm going to dilute this stuff, I'm going to stir it, and then roll it on. I'm going to go one direction, I'm going to go the other direction, I'm going to go this direction, and I'm going to go this direction. And any part that looks dry, I'm going to have to just come back and add a little bit more, and keep dipping it in here. And hopefully tomorrow I have no spots in the print, and everything looks great. So we'll maybe do a time lapse or something with this. I don't know if I can do that easily, but we'll try. Breathing color, Glamor 2 dilution ratio.
According to breathing color, a gallon of Glamor 2, diluted 30% W, distilled water, 390 to 520 square.
Okay, I just want to show what I have left. This looks more like runny glue, whereas beforehand, when it came out like thicker than Elmer's glue. And so diluting with water definitely helped. And now I need to go wash off my brush, my roller. But you can see that I spent a good amount of time rolling. Both directions, vertical, horizontal. What I was looking for was those little stripes that show up on the edges when you roll something. The edges of the roller kind of create a little stripe. And so by going back and forth over and over, I'm spreading the varnish more evenly. And you're still going to see occasional little brush strokes in there, but this is supposed to be self-leveling. And so as long as you get this nice and spread evenly and thick enough, then it's going to come out nice and crystal clear. It goes on kind of glossy, like a ghosty white, but when it dries, this matte stuff is just crystal clear, as you saw with that other print. So we'll see how this looks in 24 hours.